Kia ora, ko dia ho, hara mai. Welcome to Homemade Let's Cook. Today we're making a cheesecake slice recipe and we've got a very busy bench today. So we're going to start off with some biscuit crumbs. Now I've chosen some plain sweet biscuits, and because of that we don't need any additional sugar content. So that's just a 250 gram packet here, and into that 60 grams of melted butter. Now you could use olive oil if you wanted to, or olive oil based margarine. I'm choosing to use butter, as that's what I've probably traditionally used when I've made any cheesecake base. So it's not a whole heap of butter content for the amount of biscuit, but that generally doesn't matter too much when we're talking about a cheesecake base. So I'm going to use one of my smaller pans today, my smaller slice pan, and that's, I think, because I like quite a thick biscuit base on a cheesecake. So I'm just going to bring that across now. I do love the smell of butter and biscuit. There's just something about it. So of course we're just going to press that in. Right into the corners. And while we're waiting for this, well, we're going to make the filling, of course, but we're actually going to pop this into the freezer while we're doing the next steps. Do you know, I've actually made cheesecake bases before where there's actually no fat content. You just blitz up the biscuit crumbs and put them in the tin, and away you go. You could, of course, if you want to be a little bit more fancy, is you could use ginger nuts for your base, but if people don't like ginger, then maybe don't do that. Just use plain sweet biscuits. So that's going in nicely and is recommended. I'm going to pop that in the freezer while we make the topping. Okay, so for the next part, so the topping, I've actually taken my beaters out of my mixer because I like to be able to just get right in there. So we're going to have 250 grams of cream cheese. Now it's recommended that you don't use low fat cheese. And then we've got 250 grams of ricotta cheese. And I'm actually going to blitz these together right now. Okay, so they're reasonably well combined. So 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. I'll just combine that quickly. And then a heaped half cup of icing sugar. I'm going to take this very slowly to start with because I don't want the icing sugar to kick up at me. And then last of all, we are going to add a setting agent. So I'm going to use some gelatine. I've got 3 teaspoons of gelatine. And then into that, I'm adding 2 tablespoons of boiling water. A little mix to start with. Okay, and then that is ready to go into our mixture. Alright, so just get a little bit of that mixture of this beaters. There may be somebody that wants to lick the beaters, of course, so better not take too much off. We'll just remove the bowl, and we'll just go and get that biscuit crumb from the freezer. All right. So give this a little bit of a mix before I pop this in. It's nice and it's quite firm already, which is great. And as with any cheesecake, of course, this will need to go into the fridge for several hours, overnight if you can manage it, but at least until it has set. So we'll be taking a quick break before showing you the final product, but in reality it will probably have been quite a number of hours. I'm not sure if I'll be able to wait until tomorrow. I'm not quite that patient. Make sure, of course, and I should have mentioned this before we put the biscuits in, that you do have a container where you were able to lift out the mixture and the crumbs. So you want your baking paper to go up on all sides, just so that's easy to get out at the end. So sometimes when you think of cheesecakes, you think of them taking a long time. Well, it's really only in the setting process that they take a long time. The actual preparation process is actually no time at all. So just smooth that off as best as you want to. It doesn't need to be perfect, and we're going to be cutting it into slices anyway. Okay, so that's all there is to it. All we need to do now is have the patience to refrigerate it for long enough in the fridge, overnight if you've got the time. And I'll see you again with a serving suggestion after I've cut it up. Thanks for joining me for Homemade Let's Cook. Please join me again. Ka kite.